No one will ever believe this type drama. That may be the best drama of all time. Starting us off, my boyfriend's relationship with his teddy bear is making me uncomfortable. This sounds like an episode of My Strange Addictions on TLC. I just watched a clip on social media this morning about a guy who's in an intimate relationship with his car. And he was like making out with his car. Anyways, good morning. Just so everyone knows, before we begin, there's a note that we do in fact have images of said teddy bear. So this will be fun. This story came January 4th, 2020. Okay, now please no jokes. This is actually serious. I've already made jokes. So sorry. I have been with my boyfriend for 3 months now, so it's pretty new. So far, everything is going well, except this tiny little detail. He has this teddy bear. Let's name him Teddy. Okay. Teddy has always been a part of my boyfriend's life. He got him for his birth, and when at around the age of 5 or 6, or whatever age is appropriate to remove a teddy bear from a child, his parents tried taking Teddy away from him. He screamed and cried so loud without stopping that they ended up just giving it back. So he kept Teddy with him his whole life. He mentioned Teddy to me pretty early on, about a week after us being together. He showed me pictures of him, and I found it to be cute at first. He had plenty of pictures of him in different situations. Him with a mug, him laying in bed, him studying. I truly found it adorable since I thought it was just a joke really, and I didn't think that Teddy was such a big part of his life. The more we got to know each other, the more he started mentioning him. He often would make jokes about him. When he had to come back to his flat, he would text and say, "I have to come back. Teddy is waiting for me." And then later he would text me, "Okay, I put Teddy to bed now. I might go to sleep as well. I don't want to wake him up." Again, a little weird, but cute still. But he really started talking about him constantly, always linking what we were doing to him. Examples: "Oh, I wish Teddy was with us to see that." Or, "Teddy doesn't even like people, so I won't take him with me for this party," etc. He would send me selfies with him at least twice a week. He also sometimes said weird stuff, like whenever we watched a sex scene in a movie, he would always say, "What? That's what me and Teddy do when we're alone." Or when I asked when he lost his virginity, he answered, "Oh, I lost it with Teddy a few years ago." Oh, yeah, this is very much not a joke anymore. I have concerns. They were jokes that made me uncomfortable. He always seemed to consider him as a baby and his son or his brother, so him being sexualized was extremely weird for me. I told him that it was weird and he just laughed, but I don't think that he took me seriously. About a month ago, I told him I was okay with him bringing Teddy when he was staying around my flat. I could see it was making him sad to leave him, and also was very curious to finally see him in person. I can't go to my boyfriend's flat. There are rules that are strict and he can't invite anyone. So that day I drove to his flat and he went with all of his stuff and Teddy. When he got in the car, he pulled him out from his bag and he gave me a kiss on the cheek. When we drove, he opened the window and put Teddy out of the car, a bit like a dog would. He said it was rare for Teddy to travel like that and he could feel that he was happy. Teddy smells a lot. My boyfriend hasn't washed him in 12 years. Listen, I have childhood teddy bears. I got no shame. Don't get me confused with this situation, all right? But I give my teddies a bath. I put them in the wash on delicate cycle, all right? That's crazy. The amount of crazy. For the rest of the car drive, he hugged him and gave him kisses. He has a weird twitch where he just compulsively pats the back of Teddy. It makes a weird sound because Teddy used to be able to play music when you pressed his belly. He always rubs Teddy's clothes in between his fingers. You can guess that Teddy is in pretty bad state. He used to be red and now he's just gray. I need to see the pictures. Let's pull up the pictures of Teddy. I'm getting a very interesting image in my head. All right, that used to be red. Teddy is brown, okay? He's like a moose or something. Next. Oh, the picture was just brown. He is in fact gray. There's Teddy with a cat. I'm gonna zoom in. Oh, yes. He is worn and torn and dirty. Oh, he kind of looks like Arthur, like an aardvark. Okay, back to the story. Now we know what Teddy looks like. When we're together in bed, he always puts Teddy's mouth on my mouth, and I always avoid it as I find it disgusting. And I told him that I hate it, but he doesn't listen. He always tries to have Teddy touch my private parts, I'll say. Yeah, boss. And bum. When we make love, I often end up finding him in between us, and every time I throw him away, my boyfriend says, oh no, he likes to watch, in a joking way. He often mentions the three of us being intimate together. Girlfriend, we gotta chat. I think this is a lot more serious than you might even know. Just take a minute, watch an episode of the show I mentioned. People are genuinely in love with inanimate objects, and they are intimate with them. The girl with the Eiffel Tower, the guy with the car. It's like a serious issue. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know communication is important. I try talking to him so many times. Sometimes in a joking way too, so he doesn't feel attacked. Like once, I asked who he would choose if he had to choose between me and Teddy, and he said Teddy. I should mention that he is like that for any serious conversation. All he does is make awkward jokes, and he never tells me how he actually feels. He said I love you first because he was drunk. This is becoming hard to handle. I had been away from him for 2 weeks and was kind of relieved that I wouldn't be seeing Teddy anymore, but all he did was send pictures, and whenever I asked him, what are you doing? Or what did you do today? His answer was, playing with Teddy. Today he told me I was perfect, which was a first, and I sure didn't expect that. When he said that, I said, really? And his reply was, actually no, Teddy is perfect. You come way after him. I just gave up and didn't reply. I have 3 questions. Number 1, am I overreacting? Am I the one not being tolerant enough? Am I some boring girlfriend who can't welcome some childness in her cup? I don't know what else to say about it. A lot of us probably have childhood stuffed animals. I do. I sleep with my Teddy every night. Not the same type of sleeping though, of what's going on here. Number 2, what should I do? Should I let him live his life with Teddy? Should I ask him to make a real choice? Should I ask him to just stop making those sexual jokes? Like, who am I to ask such things? But I don't know. Is it my place to tell him to stop being weird with his teddy bear? And 3, how do I get him to finally talk to me and take me seriously? You guys let me know. We got an update on the situation, but my opinion is freaking run far, run fast. You're only 3 months in. I just think there's something more serious here. It's disturbing. Kindly, it's disturbing. My neighbors are outside. It's a beautiful day outside in my hometown right now, and my neighbors are outside and they're like listening to the radio. So if you hear it, just let them enjoy their day. You know, I don't even blame them. It's a beautiful sunny day. I would be doing the same thing. We got an update and it came the next day. I had many questions that were asked, so I'm quickly going to reply to ones that I saw the most often. Why are you with this guy? Are you insecure? Why are your standards so low? Etc. I obviously didn't write down his nicest description. Apart from this weird teddy bear fetish, he was a completely normal guy with friends, going to parties, studying, and so on. He is quite the popular guy, in fact, even though I don't care about this kind of thing. He took me on dates and he made me feel special. I really thought he was a keeper. At the beginning, him being a little childish didn't bother me. I myself have stuffed pets, and even though they're in the cupboard, I used to love them as a kid. That's when he started sexualizing his bear and involving me in it is when I freaked out. The problem is, it's so hard to tell when he's joking or not. He constantly makes jokes. That's why I could never tell whether I was overreacting or not. However, the one thing I really didn't see coming, and you guys helped me realize it, is his lack of respect towards me and my boundaries. Sometimes it's easier to see from an external point of view. This whole time I was too focused wondering whether it was normal or not for me to feel uncomfortable, and I didn't realize that not once did he help me feel more comfortable despite me telling him how I felt. Thank you a lot, because that's the one thing you all really helped me for. I would have probably taken more time to realize it on my own, even though it now looks obvious. More comments I'm getting are saying run away, he's going to kill you, he's a psychopath, etc. Although his behavior is extremely weird, I don't see him hurting anyone. But obviously it's easier for me to tell since you all had to base your opinion on what I said. He doesn't match the psychopath personality at all. Neither did Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer though. Just saying. I'm not allowed to visit him because he lives in a private home. A person hosts him in one of their bedrooms, and this person doesn't allow any visitors. It is weirdly strict, yes, but it's believable, and I've seen his sister once who confirmed it that she couldn't visit him herself. One thing is sure though, although he may not hurt anyone, he seems to have serious problems, and I'm not sure that I can handle it. People are saying it's fake. It looks like the movie Ted. I know it all looks surreal, but this is true. I know a lot about Teddy's past behavior. My boyfriend won't shut up about him. That's why I know the movie Ted, but I've never seen it, and my boyfriend actually suggested that we could watch it like a month ago. People are also telling me to burn Teddy, make him disappear, etc. Thank you. I did think about it a lot. I often hide him when he brings him to my flat, so I know exactly where he is, and so my boyfriend doesn't think about him. He always ends up looking for him though, but still, it gives me at least a break. I was meant to see him today, so I picked him up and we drove to my flat. Of course, Teddy was there, and when he came in the car, my boyfriend had him give me kisses and stuff. I said, "Stop please," in a cold way, and he stopped. I said we needed to talk, and he listened because I started crying. I thought it would be hard for me to start talking, but since I was so stressed with all your comments, I just broke down and I cried. I told him how I needed him to stop with Teddy, that he needed to stop being so close and dependent on him, and that Teddy shouldn't come to my flat anymore. At first he was silent, but then he said he didn't understand why I was so uncomfortable with it, that he was purely joking, that he knew Teddy wasn't real, and that it was hurting him to see that I thought he had a problem. I was extremely disappointed by his reaction, and I just told him I needed a break. I drove him back to his flat, and that's where I am now. And that's all we got of this story. That's concerning. You know what? Let me know your thoughts and perspective. Maybe I watch too much TLC. Maybe I should stop watching My Strange Addiction. Next unbelievable story. Should I leave my boyfriend after he gave me a meal with shrimp, even though I'm allergic, and then left me alone in the hospital? This story is pretty new. It came September 16th, 2025. Hi everyone, I need some advice because I'm going through a situation that's overwhelming to me. I'm 24 years old. I've been in this relationship for 3 years. I've lived with my boyfriend for a year, and for the past few weeks, it's been a bit of a fight after a fight, especially since I started a night job. He doesn't like it because we see each other less and I sleep during the day while he's working. But that's not even the point. I'm allergic to seafood. The other night we were invited to a friend's house for a party where everyone had to bring a dish. My boyfriend brought back some spring rolls. I was with my family. I went straight to him. I asked him if he made them. He said yes. And I immediately tasted them, and I could tell that there was shrimp in them. I asked him and he replied, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you." Luckily, my friend, who is allergic to peanuts, had an EpiPen and gave it to me, but it wasn't enough. My throat started to swell, the ambulance came, and I ended up in the hospital on an IV drip. When I came to, my best friend and parents were there. I asked where my boyfriend was. There was an awkward silence, and they told me he went out for a drink with some friends. He said that we could call him when you left. It really pissed me off. My best friend told me that he seemed completely oblivious to the whole thing. When I got home, we had an argument about his behavior. In a fit of anger, I said, "Did you try to kill me or something?" And he replied, "Too bad it failed. At least you wouldn't be annoying me." I'm concerned for everyone in these stories now. I went to my room to cry, letting out my hatred from the evening. We haven't spoken for 2 days. The atmosphere is icy. Not even an apology. Nothing. I tell myself I'm going to leave him and that there's nothing left to save, but I have this doubt in the back of my mind. I talked to my mother, who told me that every relationship goes through problems. But now we're talking about a problem that sent me to the hospital, and I find it really strange. He never eats seafood, so why put it in the dish? Maybe I'm being paranoid. What do you think? Am I being dramatic, or is his behavior serious? Yeah. Let's say it was an accident. He forgot for some reason, even though you guys have been together for so long and lived together, whatever. Let's say he forgot. Let's entertain that thought for a quick second. The fact that you had an allergic reaction and went to the hospital, I can't imagine a partner just like abandoning their person to go out for a drink while they're having a very serious allergic reaction, and it came from your dish. I would feel terrible if I forgot about an allergy that my partner had and they sent them to the hospital. I am not going out for a drink. This Sassy senses, sketchy behavior. I don't like it. We have an update, and it came the next day. A quick update from this morning. I finished work at 8 a.m. and a friend came with me to pick up my things. Normally, my boyfriend was supposed to be at work, but unfortunately, he was there. He told me that he was sick and asked what I was doing. I calmly told him I was coming to pack up my things and that it was over, that our relationship had to end. He just looked at me and asked my friend to leave so we could talk about how it was his place and we didn't want him there. I refused, reminding him that the apartment is also in my name. There are 2 of us on the lease, so if I wanted, he had the right to stay. For an hour, I emptied my things while listening to him call me every name under the sun, my friend and I. He repeatedly told him to speak with his mouth, but hey, we were up against a wall. I grabbed everything and I left. I'm going to get legal advice to clarify some things because, to answer those who asked, he knew perfectly well that I was severely allergic to every restaurant. I spent time reading the ingredients, asking questions, etc. For those who ask if it was in his character, no, he was always gentle and caring, so it's very hard to understand what could have happened. But hey, human beings are complex and I have to remind myself not to dwell on my situation. Well, you're handling a lot better than I would. Let me tell you that. Before we get to the next story, let's hydrate. And I am hydrating with some water with electrolytes in it. Let me know what you got. Cheers. I just realized I even have a little bow on my straw today. I have bows on my earrings, bows on my shirt, bow on my straw. I'm out of control. Talk about my strange addiction. Next story, me with my wife of 5 years could be getting a divorce over an aquarium. This story came July 2nd, 2016. To start off, my wife and I have been together for 5 years and things were going pretty great until recent events. We met during speed dating and both quickly took a liking to each other. We both have great jobs and plan on having kids pretty soon, maybe within the next 2 to 3 years. Also, we don't disagree on many things and rarely argue. Sometimes, of course. So, my wife and I just bought a house in Florida and she's crazy about anything aquatic. I'm talking about whales, fish, lobsters. She just loves all things of the sea. One of the first things that she told me about herself on our first official date was that she loved the seals. I'm not quite sure what this was supposed to mean. Was it some type of Save the Seals slogan you might hear for like pandas? Anyways, that didn't really strike me as too odd since I am an animal lover myself. In our first apartment, we had a quaint fish tank that housed around 10 fish, but she always wanted more fish in that damn tank. I said, look, we can't have any more fish in the tank. They need their space. She agreed, and the issue had not been brought up until now. As I said above, we recently just bought a house in Florida. One of the most striking features that we love about it is the giant pool. It isn't the greatest looking pool, but it is definitely large. One of the first things that she mentions after we purchase the place is how cool it would be to have our own aquarium. I go on to tell her it is not a wise idea of us to have an aquarium for various reasons. It did not seem to make her extremely angry, but I could tell that she was a bit annoyed and frustrated about the whole ordeal. A few days later, she brought it up to me again, except this time she had a legitimate plan all written out. I was taken aback. She used Word to type up a detailed plan on how we could get this aquarium to work. Bullet points and all. It went over all the costs, the type of aquatic creatures that we would house in the aquarium, what type of contractors and licenses we would need to pull it off. The craziest part is she wants to use the pool. I told her that I thought it was really sweet that her love for aquatic creatures has given her the idea to have our own aquarium in our pool, but I wasn't willing to spend nearly $20,000 to do so, nor would I do it regardless of the cost. No, I want to be the creature swimming in that pool. What do you mean? I'm playing mermaids. The most messed up part is that she wants sharks in a separate pool that we would have to build. Why the hell would anyone want giant sharks in their backyard? She told me that this was one of her dreams ever since we had met, that we would own a pool and start up some type of backyard aquarium BS. Her first sign was, apparently, you said you loved seals too. So now I'm thinking in my head that I married somebody so that they could have a potential aquarium partner? She has now gone as far as saying that she will leave me if I don't agree to this. I don't even know what to do at this point. She claims that I am crushing her dreams. I am so confused about all of this. We have been great for 5, going on 6 years, and she wants to leave me because I won't agree to having an aquarium and building a separate pool for sharks. Is it even wise to try to work this out anymore? I feel like I am being put into a corner right now and cannot do anything about it. She won't even pick up my phone calls. Should I cave and build an aquarium? This really is, no one will believe this type. Because what? What's happening? You know, anytime I complain about my life, just remind me of this. Remind me of these stories. Please. We got some updates. Let's find out if he actually builds the aquarium or not. The first update came the next day. So, things are a little better now. I guess not really. As I left a voicemail saying that there could be some way for us to make a compromise, something that would be not harming those beings, a proper way to care for them. It seems that now she's suddenly open to the idea of doing this after 2 whole days of not speaking to me. She has legitimately told me that she wanted to test how far I would go for us. I'm very curious why she would propose such a fantastical and cruel idea to see if I would simply do it. I admit, for a good portion of our marriage, I have been a classic pushover, bending to her will on things that I would rather not do if it was truly up to me. I feel like somewhere along the way, my opinions and reasoning have lost value in her eyes and have lost value in my own eyes. That is just something that I could not allow, and I think it royally pissed her off simply because I would not do it. Basically, she would have to let this happen if I would have been willing to, but she said she made it sound more crazy to see how far I would take it to help her live her dreams. Yeah, I already graduated. Like, I'm not trying to be tested anymore. That's just annoying to me. This feels even worse than her not speaking to me for 2 days over this whole bizarre ordeal. A lot of you had said that she's nuts, and I'm starting to believe it after this. I'm not quite sure if I should be with someone that is willing to test me over something that would cause great harm to other living things just to see if I would go through with it. I feel like I've been manipulated this whole time, like it's some sham marriage or something so she could live this lavish dream. I don't really know what to do at this point. We sure as hell aren't going to build an aquarium. I am leaning towards telling her to go get counseling, or us getting counseling together, or just trying to settle this in a civil matter because I do not feel like being tested again. I feel like it would surely happen again. I actually have no doubt in my mind knowing how manipulative people continue this behavior. And then there was an update within that post. My wife and I have talked heavily about it since I posted this update, and she has decided to go to counseling. Lately, she says that she has been having growing obsessions for things, almost this type of level, but has been bottling it up inside. She took me not agreeing with this as a personal attack against her. She also has not really felt like herself lately, and I have taken notice of that. Apparently, she's been trying to self-diagnose by reading online, which I have heard is not a good way to go about mental health. Her job is extremely stressful and taxing, and this seems to have been some type of outlet. No agreement has been reached on an alternative to this aquarium. I'm starting to doubt she even wanted this whole thing to go through to begin with, so it's worrisome. I'm not really sure if my wife is in her right mind at the moment, because this is such extreme behavior and she's never really acted like this. I do love her greatly though, and I will support her 100% through counseling. I do feel bad about all of this in a way, like I should have noticed something was going on, but I truly did not see this coming. We both live extremely busy lives, which is not an excuse, but I feel it is a contributing factor to my possible negligence. Okay. I will never joke seriously about mental health issues. Obviously, that's strange behavior in the beginning, but I'm happy to know that she is acknowledging the strange obsession and agreeing to go speak to a professional and get help, and you're supporting her through it. And I love that. Let me know what you guys think about these stories. I am very excited for this comment section. I gotta say, I'll see you guys in there. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Bye.